Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Recruiters React. So today we'll be actually talking about upskilling. Is it for funsies or realsies to help our career? So today we are joined by our talent consultants, Adeline and Sean. Sean, would you mind introducing yourself to the camera right here?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Sean. I've been recruiting for 9 years right now. I basically hire for the sales and marketing function within the technology and professional services industries.
All right, thank you, Sean. Adeline, what about yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Adeline. I'm actually recruiting for the banking and financial services space. So it has been about 11 years, so predominantly doing corporate and institutional banking.
So today we are here to talk about upskilling. I think it's a very important topic now, also because of AI transformation. It's drastically changing how we perform our work. Like in Randstad, we use Gemini and Notebook LM by the Google Enterprise Group, right? At the same time, people are very aware that they need to upskill, right? But then there's always like this part of things that, oh, don't have time lah, this and that. So we are actually here to discuss more into that. And also, according to our Work Monitor research, most talent said that the responsibility to upskill should be an equal shared responsibility between the employer and the employee themselves. So people who did not receive any training at work are also more likely to quit. That's what we found in our research. Right now, we are all human beings, right? Living 24 hours a day. Like many of us know that it's very important to upskill, but we don't really have the time to do it. You know, like Adeline yourself being a parent as well. So just want to find out, have you ever upskilled outside of work, outside of whatever Randstad structure training program is?
I did actually. So actually this year, it was kind of more of like out of curiosity. The context was such that, we had an influx of, Asian clients coming in, specifically a lot of Korean clients. And I think at the same time, I was quite intrigued with the Korean culture. So I did, go on, to take on some Korean courses under SkillsFuture. So that was for about half a year.
Oh, okay. So half a year is quite a long time. It's quite a strong commitment to learning a new language, right?
It is. So I think the nuances behind the language, the way how you structure the sentence, I think there's a lot of art and science that goes in behind it. So a lot of commitment. It was like a weekly, once a week sort of class. And there's also the revision that you have to do on the other days as well.
Yeah, homework.
Homework, spelling, weekly spelling as well.
Okay, so the Korean characters.
The Korean characters, so they'll teach you vocabs for you to memorize. How do you say apple, for example? How do you say train in Korean? And then you learn the vocab.
But it's actually quite difficult, right? Because I heard the vowels, they have like 20 something or like not like English like that. Only 5 or 6, they have like so many vowels and everything.
It's very difficult. And I think if you learn from young, I can understand how it'll be easier to pick up, like how we do Mandarin in Singapore. But I think to pick up a new language is going to be a very long-term thing.
Yeah.
I think 6 months, to be honest, is not enough. I'm not even at the base. I would say not really basic or anything. There's a lot of revision and investment that needs to go that need to go into it.
So what was the commitment per week that you had to do actually?
So just once a week, 2-hour classes.
2 hours. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
Plus homework.
plus
Yeah,
homework.
plus homework, correct. Yeah,
So
okay.
weekends, I'm like studying
Yeah.
and revising.
Yeah.
It's hard language learning. Like I can't even master Mandarin.
Yeah.
And we grew up learning both languages, right? English and Mandarin.
So if you're talking about, let's say, doing courses, no, I never upskilled myself in that sense. But I think in my day-to-day, trying to improve myself as a salesperson or, understanding how to negotiate better. So reading books or, listening to podcasts. I think if you look at upskilling, and I think maybe that's maybe part of the issue with why sometimes, people in the workforce or, just generally people feel they don't have time for upskilling because they look at it as, another task, right, to do. We shouldn't just look at upskilling as, something that is just very sort of structured, like, okay, there's specific courses or I need to pay a certain money for it, right? But many times you talk to candidates, they do feel that the promotion that they're looking for isn't coming, right? But sometimes when we advise them and you realize that the people who get promoted more quickly, they actually sort of step outside, their normal responsibilities and job scope to do something or take on a project, that outside responsibility, which is a form of upskilling in of itself that will actually get them the promotion.
Yeah.
at the end of the day. Yeah, so I think that's important.
I think in sales and marketing specifically, there's a lot of like associations, affiliates, where then they will go there as more of like their, I wanted to say extracurricular.
CCA, yeah. I mean, it is like a CCA, right, to a certain extent, because it's kind of like you're not dependent on how much courses you do or what extra you do, right? But it does make a difference at the end of the day, right? So I think understanding the applications of your skills and not just sort of do upskilling just as a checklist, right? So for marketing, for example, you're talking about marketing, right? If you learn, let's say, marketing automation or certain coding for marketing, there's a lot of courses of digital marketing or SEO, SEM, there are a lot of courses you can do. But if you take the course and you get a certification, but you aren't able to demonstrate to either your present or prospective employers how you're going to apply it, right? So I think application and applied skills is almost, or if not more important.
Yeah, the application part, I mean, for me, it's easy because YouTube video is on demand. So if I can just go back and then watch it again. But I think if you go for a course, you have to find the opportunity to, at work, to be able to apply what you have learned as well.
100%.
Sean, just sidetrack a bit. You and Adeline used to be teammates.
We were.
So Sean used to be from the banking team as well. What were you doing back then?
We were part of the same thing. I was hiring for the banking and financial services. That's actually where I started my recruitment career. And I think initially I was hiring for the operations function within the banking and financial services sector.
And then now you're with sales and marketing.
Yes, now I'm actually hiring for the technology as well as professional services sector. It was a change of some sort.
So could you walk us through like maybe your thought process? Because obviously, for a lot of us spending many years in one career, we want new changes, right? We are motivated or we are energized by new changes. Was that the reason why you have asked for a switch?
So I think the reason I asked for the change is exactly why we're having a conversation about upskilling today, because if you look at AI and the role it's it's starting to play, I wanted to make a switch from hiring for the financial services to hiring for technology. Because I thought technology is ever changing, and it's going to be even more pervasive than it was 5 years ago, which was when I made the switch. Despite being with Randstad for about I think 3 to 4 years at that point in time, the change didn't come immediately. And I think that's what most people looking for a change in their career will face from their employers as well, right? You need to demonstrate not only a willingness but also the capabilities to make that switch.
The fundamental skills are the same, calling clients, speaking to candidates, but there will always be a learning curve.
100%, yeah. For me, in that situation, it was really being able to understand a different sector and a different industry and being able to go out there. But there was still a common base or foundational set of skill sets, right? Which is your people skills, your business development skills, your account management skills, which are still the same. It's just really going on to understand a new industry and making that switch. So definitely there was a learning curve of sorts, to go into a new industry and to learn. And I guess this brings it back to my earlier point that upskilling does not necessarily need to be really just a specific course, right, or structured. Right, it can be just improving yourself in certain either breadth or depth in terms of your own career expertise.
Very bold.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking like a lot of commitment as well, right? Because it's a switch. You have to learn the nuances, the way how the tech works. It's very different. I think everything is like they have their own habits.
Correct.
And then you probably have to also make time outside work to pick up on the different jargons, right, related to the industry.
We all have homework.
all the time.
Homework outside of work. Yeah, I myself made a career switch. I used to be an accountant.
Oh.
Then after that, I switched to comms. But I actually went through the whole thing. I went back to school. I went to RMIT to get my degree, and then after that, I made the switch to comms. Because I did it quite young. So I think I still had the luxury of youth.
Well, that's a huge change though.
Yeah.
It's a huge change, but I think accounting is not for me. Like, I was bored.
But you finished your accounting course.
Yeah, I took the diploma in Ngee. So I took the diploma in Ngee under accounting school.
Wow.
Struggling a lot back in school.
Yeah. But I think that's important, right? You obviously had the foresight and the benefit of knowing early, right? But I think sometimes when we're speaking to candidates, we see some of them stuck, right? Because maybe they're mid-30s, maybe they're mid-40s, and they all feel it's too late to
That's
change.
true.
But I feel that when you don't have any purpose or you don't really like what you do, that's when you see actually that people don't have time to upskill or learn even more because they just aren't interested in what they do, and that's why they don't actually go and upskill, and that's where you will stagnate and fall further and further and behind. So maybe it might be actually better to take the leap of faith, and move.
It's hard.
Sometimes.
It's definitely hard. What I always like to tell candidates, or even my close friends, is
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders. He started KFC at 65, if I'm not wrong. It's a global brand now. Never too late.
The recipe that everybody wants to learn.
Yes, indeed.
65, the recipe came to me.
The secret recipe, right? What's the 11 steps? Not the 11 herbs and spices to actually make that change at 65.
All right. Yeah. So Sean moving to tech because there is this potential growth in tech, and then Adeline, I think you see this a lot in banking as well. Because one of our recent research also found that entry level jobs are declining because of AI and automation. Impacts mid-level to senior levels stakeholders as well because again, AI is now part of our everyday life. In terms of upskilling for digital, for tech, specifically maybe for both your patches, do you now see CVs with more AI skills in them? Like for candidates, maybe they have attend courses, whether is it Coursera or like standard training programs.
I think for the nature of what I do, because it's very much, into corporate banking and institutional banking, they still kind of, rely a lot on the human element behind, because it's all about building relationship, going in to build relationship with your clients, with the corporates. So the human part is still important, I feel, especially in the area that I cover. So lesser of the AI influence. But of course, if it's going to be a bit about the process automation of all of from middle to back office sort of operations, right? Possibly, I would think that there'll be a lot more AI component. The fact that they have done this, they have done that, how they were part of the project to even begin with. But I would say lesser of, based on what I do, which is a bit more on the front line, where the human part is still very important.
The relationship management part,
Exactly.
which is the name of the job itself, relationship manager.
Relationship manager. That's right.
I think what I've seen is actually really very similar to Adeline, right? Because I do hire for sales and marketing. So for the sales side, you don't really see so much of AI skill sets being relevant, or at least not for now, right? It's still the relationship based, and you're not seeing a lot of that. But for marketing, especially maybe for some of the functions within marketing itself that's a bit more specialized and that requires a lot more automation, then you do see a lot more of the AI skill sets being put on the CV, for example. If you're talking about, let's say, programmatic advertising, or certain types of, let's say, performance marketing, where it's a lot more data driven and where AI would be much more relevant, then you do see it. But for example, if it's let's say PR, for example, you don't see them putting AI too much on their CV because they do want to say that I still have the agency,
Their
writing,
originality.
copywriting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's a mixed bag. It's too early to say, but definitely, front office, the sales side, relationship management, not yet. We'll be curious to see what happens there.
Yeah.
Would you think that it's like a given that they know how to use, they are expected to use AI for like maybe research or data analytics, That's why it's not in the CV, because there's more of like a given kind of thing.
Possibly. But I think on top, earlier on we were talking about firewalls, right? Which is very prevalent in banking, where it's all about, banking secrecy, or how, in terms of even the apps, even if they have a phone app, there's a lot of apps that are not, a work phone, a lot of apps are not allowed actually. Yeah.
When it comes to upskilling, homework is a very big part of it. Then there's this whole double whammy, time versus growth. Right? We know it's important to our growth, but then that time commitment, it's taxing, I would say, especially if you have a lot of things going on already. So with all these additional responsibilities, can people actually find the time and energy to upskill?
I think the number one reasons that people would normally say is that they have no time, But personally, I feel if it's going to be very passion kind of inspired or, interest inspired, I think they will make time for it. So if it's important to the job, I think it's all about making time rather than generally, I think the general answer will be there's no time. Yeah, but if it's like mandatory, then it's a different story, right? People will make time outside work. If it's more interest related, they will, take time out of their weekend, just to prioritize.
Yeah, I mean, I think I completely agree with Adeline, right? If it's something that you're passionate about, definitely you can find time. Of course, it's difficult too. No one said it's going to be easy, right? We have so many competing demands, competing needs, and it's definitely going to be difficult. I think maybe what makes it easier is like, as per our report that showed, right, it's equal responsibility between employer and employees. Hiring for the professional services, especially one of which is the education sector, right? We do see that education employers, they do give a lot more sort of time, set aside exam leave and everything like that, or study leave, right? And then you do see that the candidates or people within that industry setting more time aside. So definitely when you have support from the employers, you do see a little bit more. But yeah, I definitely agree with Adeline that if it's something that's important, then you got to set time aside. It's a chicken or egg thing, I guess.
Yeah. I think also the attention span as well. Like sometimes I set time aside on the weekends to like, okay, I really want to learn this, right? Half an hour gone, and it's like, let me just go see what's in the fridge.
Yeah, I mean,
Priorities. It changes.
But for like short courses, I think it's okay. Like especially things that we can learn on the job. I think those are much more straightforward, right? Like getting some like your manager to help you out with something, asking for advice. But for those that require additional courses, just now before the filming started, we spoke a little bit about it, like certifications that are actually necessary for the job. Companies support that in what level?
So I think what courses are, or certifications are important in what I do or in the areas that I recruit will be like, things like CFA, your Chartered Financial Analysis sort of courses, even CA, right, Chartered Accountant, FRM as well, Financial Risk Management. So I think in cases like that, employers do, kind of provide them with exam leave. We spoke about exam leave, study leave. They kind of sponsor them for the examination. And also because all these membership, it's like a yearly membership. You need to pay a fee. So some employers do give allow them to claim for some of this membership, which I think is quite a good gesture actually, just to help them to maintain, to go for all these certifications and maintain the paper as well, the certifications.
Right. So for all this, like I would say membership sponsorship, right? Do we also see them in sales and marketing? Because they're also part of like affiliates or programs.
I think in sales and marketing, it really depends on the industry as well. So I think it's more industry based. So tech wise, it's quite big. But maybe if you look at, I don't know, cybersecurity, then you have a lot more cybersecurity, especially since it's sort of more of a regulated sort of subsector within technology, right? Just like banking itself. So I think it depends on how regulated the sector is. But if you're looking at, let's say, for example, a marketing technology firm that it's really just doing something that's not very regulated, then you don't really have sort of associations that you sort of have to pay to be a part of or get certifications for.
The other day I went for this like a product launch or rather product update. Like how Apple every year they have those, right? And then it was like a 5-day thing. Like it was an online thing because it happened in US, and then after that they uploaded everything for like on-demand learning and stuff like that.
What software or product was it?
It's a company that does like a few softwares, and then like they have consumer facing one, and then they also have enterprise level green ones. It's a lot.
It's a huge time commitment,
It's a huge time commitment. I think most of this are actually paid for as well. So companies sometimes do pay, like, just for conferences, like go and attend it, look at what are the product updates and come back to us and let us know. Are there some courses that are increasingly popular to talent? They were like, hey, Adeline or Sean, like, what kind of training does this company provide? Blend of in-house, external training, language, maybe in Korean, AI, or is it more of a back to basic kind of thing, like digital literacy, communication skills kind of thing?
I had a client, it's a Korean firm, Korean FI. they actually sponsor, colleagues to go for Korean classes. So I happen to have a candidate in the past where she was actually pursuing Korean. I mean, she's a lot more advanced. And I thought that really kind of helped to kind of seal the deal, because she said, I like the culture, I like the language. So I thought it was a nice gesture for the firm to provide that sort of a benefit as well, where you can claim your classes and the exams and etc. So we have something like that that some employers do provide, like languages. I think it's more of opportunities, just to allow them to so because we have all this exam leave, we allow you to go for all these CFA courses, which can help you with your paper. And other than that, I think a lot of times sustainability is actually pretty much very, very talked about in the banking industry now. So sometimes they do ask me, do they go for are there any like ESG certification or ESG courses that the bank would provide? How do I sign up for it, for example?
Yeah, I think it's like quite industry dependent also. Yeah, so I have candidates who were looking to do potentially a master or a PhD in the future. So did ask whether the employer would provide such a sponsorship, or at least set some time aside for the person to do it, right, in the future, not in the immediate future, but that was something that's considered. Otherwise, yeah, I think candidates do ask about what kind of courses or trainings that they might attend, if there is sort of a budget set aside, right, some sort of flexible benefits that they could use to upskill themselves. Or whether there's specific courses or training in areas that the employer might provide for. So increasingly, I would see it, but honestly, I don't think that's the starting point for most candidates. At least now, you don't hear candidates approaching like, hey, my first priority is what are upskilling opportunities. It's kind of a bit lower down the priority list.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but I think that's in line with sort of how sort of upskilling is viewed as in Singapore for now. Hopefully that changes because I think upskilling is quite important, right? To make sure that you always remain relevant.
I also think maybe it's like at the start of, like, if I'm looking for jobs, right, I'm not going to be like, hey, do you like have any training opportunity? Like, I'm going to talk about like salary, the job scope itself, that kind of stuff. But I think like the training part would then be very important to retain the person in the company.
Yeah, I think the training is very important. We have definitely seen people who I think left the job early because during the interviews there was mention of, let's say, proper training and everything, but when they joined in, the training wasn't there or the support wasn't there. So yeah, I mean, in that sense, I think training and sort of related to upskilling is very important, and a proper structured program to get new employees used to a certain process as well as the industry and a certain way that the company works is very, very important.
Yeah, especially now, like the way that we do things like just changes every day.
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I'm catching up.
I always feel like I'm catching up in life. In life and in work.
Benefits, employee benefits to support upskilling efforts. Just now we talked about exam leaves.
Yeah.
Study leave.
Study leave, I've seen that as well. We talk about membership sponsorship, yearly sponsorship. I think even if they go for masters or PhD, correct, there's some kind of sponsor. Some companies will do that.
But typically for, I think, masters, there'll be a bond attached to it. Yeah, because the fee and might be a bit. Otherwise, maybe some sort of flexible benefits or some sort stipend of sort per year that allows you to use on education.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like the flexi benefit, right? You can use it as part of the wellness. You can also use it for upskilling as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that would be the bulk of it that companies provide.
So in terms of employee benefits, maybe let's take it a step further. I don't know whether this is happening in Singapore, but I've heard before, like for global MNCs, they have in-house career guide where it's part of the HR and L&D team, and then like they in their performance review, they actually have to review together with the career guides. Like, okay, your job is going to change quite significantly, so like how it should move you along in this thing. Do we see that additional support in Singapore?
I think it's something that's very useful, but I don't think there's a sort of universal standard. I think it is dependent on the values of that company. So there are some big, Fortune 500 companies that will have this. Conversely, there are some that might not have this at all. So I think it really depends on the value of the company and then the values of the leadership of the company, right? And that actually cascades down. If they really believe in upskilling and learning, and in guidance, then you actually see that being rolled out by the HR and the L&Ds. and being implemented by the managers across the board, right? Across the regions. But if you have someone who's at the top who, managed to build a company through, sheer hard work and doing it themselves, then they might believe in a different philosophy, right? Where maybe sort of hand holding is not how they succeeded, right? And they may not have that, believe in the same philosophy of the guidance, right? So I think that would actually cascade down as well, lah. They would believe that, you need to find things out yourself. You need to get things done. Yeah. So I think it really depends on who's at the top. And I think you've also seen across the years there are certain companies that might believe in one philosophy, and then there's the leadership change.
Oh yeah. It
changes.
changes.
It changes throughout the whole company. It's not immediate, but it definitely changes throughout the company as well.
I remember there was one time there was like chief happiness officer.
Yes.
Yeah, under the HR. I'm looking under well-being and stuff, right? But then now it's like the roles are being merged also.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but I think there is value in in-house career guides, especially if the company is like big enough where they have to manage like maybe different business lines, different divisions, so that they can also move their people around for like depth and breadth of like their skill sets.
It's true, and it helps with retention as well, right? Like keep the talent within the organization, giving them different opportunities also. They don't have to look outside. They can find opportunities internally. So I think it's a good idea to have a role like that, especially for the bigger places, the bigger organizations.
I think I value it lah.
100%.
So like I purely really doing guesswork here.
No, personally, I completely agree, and I personally definitely believe in it as well. I think sort of the analogy is if you look at universities as well, right? I think there are certain universities that have a much more established sort of career guidance program and career mentorship where they talk to students about what this degree can do and so on and so forth, and then you see that the students from that school go on to careers that are much more fulfilled, right? Rather than having to change halfway, because you did a degree which is supposedly very prestigious, but you have no idea what career you're going into, right? Yeah, so it's the same thing, right? I think it's completely applicable to a work process, right? If someone sits you down from the start, and say, okay, this is where you can go, then at least you probably get stronger retention, less turnover, or people leave earlier.
Right, like our school program facilitator, like we used to have those school program facilitators where the optional modules give you advice of like, how you should plan out your optional modules and stuff.
Similar.
I think it's also good, like, somebody you can talk to, and then like you can ask them like, how useful is this? And then they'll give you some sort of like quite generic lah, but at that point of time I really value it. But then I think with AI it's also quite a lot of guesswork, right? Even with career guidance, like with the job transformation, we have a lot of job transformation industry map from our government.
It is.
It's quite detailed stuff as well, like how much will your job change in the future and stuff like that. But I think a lot of it, like at the point of time that you are doing it, it's quite a lot of guesswork also.
Yeah. I think things are changing too fast to actually accurately predict what things will be. So
it's all like a forecast, just a forecast, right?
Yeah.
Like what we expect it will happen.
Yeah. Plan for the best, prepare for the worst.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah.
Okay. Any last words about upskilling?
Don't stay stagnant. Yeah, I think upskill, make time for it, prioritize. I think now that we're at year end anyway, right? So new year, new prioritization. Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree. I think, upskilling is really important. I think the more skills you have, whether it's breadth or depth, you sort of increase your own surface area for growth, right? And that means, greater opportunities for yourself because you have more skill sets, that can either help you in a promotion or find you another job in a related sort of industry when you want to do a career change. So yeah, you never know. Upskilling is important. Yeah.
And you don't necessarily have to upskill in your career, right? Like I have friends who went to get like yoga instructor license, and then after that they did a career switch to become a yoga instructor.
Yeah.
You're just pursuing what you're really passionate about.
Exactly. Yeah. If not, it's going to be difficult, right? If you're just going to do upskill in your own career, or your career expertise, then if ever one day you want to change, you might feel there's too much sunk cost or anything, right? Yeah. So upskill, as long as you're improving yourself and not being stagnant, like Lynn said, I think it'll be great.
Explore new things. It's important. Discover new horizons. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Sean and Adeline.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.